friend, today I would like to bring to your attention that Exodus 20, verses 3 to 18, and Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 to 13 are in harmony, though it may not be explicitly the same in language, but the principle, if you and I will look deeper, gives us the perfect balance of what the law of God says and the Lord's Prayer has to teach us. Let me read the Lord's Prayer. Jesus Christ Himself made this as a model prayer. It says in Matthew 6:9, "After this manner therefore pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." And in verse 10, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven." Do you know what comes into my mind when I read these two verses from the prayer of Jesus? Yes, the first commandment, "Thou shalt not have no other gods before me." That is our Father. And it tells us that the name Father is holy, a singular person, not to be confused with three in one. Friends, the principle of the first commandment is embedded in the Lord's Prayer, in the invocation of our Father, the only true God. And in the next verse, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven," allows us to glimpse the government in heaven, that there ruleth the only true God and His Son, Jesus Christ the Messiah, and the heavenly beings created by the Father and the Son. And that's why whatever is being worshipped in heaven, it will be fulfilled on earth by His true people. Can't you see that, friends? It is so perfect and harmonious. And you might be asking, okay, it may not be explicit, but what about the fourth commandment? Well, let me let you know that the heavenly beings observe the law of God. They do not bow down to any graven image, neither philosophical or Luciferian ideas. Let me read to you verse 11, and gives you a history of what God has done for His people through His Son, Jesus Christ. Verse 11, "Give us this day our daily bread." Do you know what comes to mind? Exodus 16. The first 6 days of their sojourn and in their encampment, the Lord provided for them manna. And there was none on the seventh day, but they were provided. And God used this principle to illuminate that God is indeed the one providing. He is the only true God. And through Christ, His Son, the blessing of being fed was given to the Israelites in Exodus 16. Can you see it, friends, again? I see it. Verse 12, you might be asking, so what about the last sixth commandment about our relationship with the Father? With each other, I mean. It's embedded in verse 12 and 13 of Matthew 6. Let me read. "And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors." Meaning, this is now the relationship between parents and children and their parents, and relatives and friends. That means it is understood that the moral law of God is indeed to be forgiving and to forgive. And that means we have to be respectful to each other. Isn't that what the principle of honor your father and your mother speaks to about? In a spiritual as well as in moral sense. "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil," encompass "Thou shalt not hate," which means thou shalt not kill. Hate is a temptation from the enemy. Lust, which means thou shalt not commit adultery, is another temptation. Remember Joseph when he was tempted? And thou shalt not steal is another temptation, to take what is not ours. Isn't that in the fourth command, in the 10 Commandments? Thou shalt not bear false witness, meaning lie. Every day human beings lie. And that is a temptation again from Satan. And thou shalt not covet, meaning being greedy or avarice or selfish. Isn't that beautiful, friends? Summarized by Jesus in the Lord's Prayer. I do hope and pray you study this, because this is beautiful. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. There is only one true God, our Father. It is embedded in the Lord's Prayer. Chapter earlier in Matthew 5, verse 17, Jesus said, I think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Jesus fulfilled the 10 Commandments, even in the Lord's Prayer. Therefore, what is my conclusion? Those who preach that there are 3 in 1 gods, or Trinity, or those who let man neglect the obedience to the law of God, they are not in harmony with Jesus Christ. Think about it, friends. The law, the 10 Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, our Father. May God bless you and keep you today.